They call him Seatin, the man of legends.
Hey guys, what is up? It is Seatin here. Hello and welcome to How to Solo Planebreaker Bastion Aftermath with all of the hard modes. So if you guys didn't see, on Friday I was featured on the Tryon Worlds official live stream alongside Cole Marshall, who is the new sort of live streaming guru and whiz, and we ran Planebreaker Bastion Aftermath and did the majority of the hard modes for this chronicle. So basically, ever since then, I've had a couple of tweets and also a couple of mails asking me for a quick strategy/guide video for Planebreaker Bastion Aftermath and how to do sort of all the hard modes, etc. So this is what this video will be covering. So, the first boss, which is Usurper Esai, I can never say his name right, I always completely butcher it, is probably the most difficult hard mode you're going to face in this instance, and it does require quite a bit of practice. Now, the first thing I want to point out before I pull this boss is you'll see around the room there are these various sort of glowing pools of light. When he casts something called, I believe it's called Grip Blast, we're going to find out in a minute anyway, you need to be standing in one of these pools or you will take about 10k damage per second, which for most people is pretty much all of their health. So you have to be very quick and very savvy in running into those pools. Aside from that, you have to keep on moving until he casts his kinetic redirect, and then you have to stay completely still when that goes off, and also a couple of other fun stuff that I'm going to talk about while I'm actually doing the hard mode. So let's pull the boss and get going. So on initially engaging the boss, this is the time where I generally like to use all my main damaging abilities like Nissa's Rebuke, because I know as soon as that burning lava ground comes up, I'm going to have to keep on moving pretty much non-stop. Now, as you can see, I've been caught in a bit of a difficult situation there with a Grip Blast, and that was kind of my fault. You constantly have to kind of keep an eye on which of the wells of light respawning recently, and get in the one that has spawned recently, because when it's about to despawn, as you can see, it emotes a sort of purple circle around it, and I was very close to dying there. Now, as soon as the Grip Blast has finished channeling, a fire tornado will appear at your location, which will knock you off the platform if you stay in it. So literally the second that he finishes casting that, you need to run out of the kinetic zone and as far away as you possibly can. Now, usually while I'm in the Grip Blast, this is the time because you actually do reduce damage and healing while in these zones, so usually while I'm standing in there, I will use this opportunity to quickly top myself up and make sure that I am on full or maximum health. Now, I'm soloing it at a fairly slow pace as to what I usually do, just because I'm, a bit distracted by doing a live commentary, something that I don't often do, but I should definitely try and do more of. I do enjoy doing stuff live, and it kind of makes it a bit more challenging for myself to kind of balance, actually concentrating on the fight while explaining the tactics to you guys. So, as you can see, guys, that boss, it appears fairly easy once you get used to it, but the first few times you do it or attempt to try it, it will seem pretty overwhelmingly hard and difficult, but it's really just getting used to the mechanics, and you will need some sort of self-healing to actually sort of defeat that fight and complete that boss, because there you can't avoid the burning lava and run constantly when you have to stand still for the kinetic redirect. You just can't do that. So unfortunately there are going to be periods where you do need to take damage from the lava floor. So, moving on to the next boss, which is Sharad X9. Now, this boss on hard mode, not that much changes apart from the damage, which is up significantly, and also he will destroy the pillars which you use to line of sight the slugs if you can't interrupt them throughout the fight. So I'm going to pull this boss and explain sort of the tactics as we go. So, my kind of what I like to do on this boss is I like to line of sight the standard slugs and interrupt the heavy ones. So as you can see, I line of sighted using one of the pillars on the standard ones, and when it came to the heavy slug, I just quickly threw an interrupt on it. Now, when he does his blast ring mechanic, you need to get inside of it, sort of the safe zone near the boss, while also being sure to avoid the laser net mechanic. As you can see, it's fairly straightforward, but the difficulty does amp up as you sort of progress further into this fight, as sort of you run out of pillars. So sometimes when you get towards the end of this fight and there are laser nets and he's casting his slugs, you unfortunately cannot avoid some of the standard slugs. So if you have sort of big healing cooldowns in certain specs, like for example I couldn't avoid that slug then it might be a good idea to sort of save them for the end of the fight when you're going to need them the most. So you kind of get into a pattern of interrupting the heavy ones and then line of sighting for the standards, and also moving out whenever he does his laser net to try and avoid it, and moving in whenever he does his big sort of AoE. Now, unfortunately, I kind of cocked up there on the interrupts because, once again, ladies and gentlemen, nobody is perfect here, even including myself, no matter how pro I may sound. So I'm going to quickly spam heal myself up and then hopefully have enough DPS to finish off the boss. So, yeah, as you can see, I made a bit of a cock up there a couple of times on the line of sighting. I wasn't near the pillars that were up, but as you can see, even with a few cock ups, you can still fairly easily defeat that boss. Now, I'd say that's probably the easiest hard mode in there, so, you know, if you're looking for a place to start when it comes to soloing hard modes, I definitely suggest doing that boss. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to end this video here, and do the other two in the next video coming, or this video will be far too long for my computer to upload. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe, and, I don't know, tweet this video, or retweet it, or favorite it, because I'm trying to get involved a bit more in Twitter. I've been pretty oblivious to Twitter all my life until like a week ago, and now I'm trying to get like, I don't know, followers and known on Twitter, if that is a thing, but I doubt it'll be very successful, but regardless of which, I'll persevere and try to do that. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.